Every time I wear this shirt, I always think to myself afterwards, was this really a great idea? And I still don't know. Hi ladies and gents, I am not wearing my little brother's shirt. I just don't fit in this shirt very well. I talked about it a couple days ago in a vlog, but today I am going to be officially talking about Season 3 of Doctor Who. So for those of you who are Whovians, now is the time where you finally get to hear my feels on Martha Jones. Now let's start off with the key things that a lot of people don't like Martha Jones. Now I went into Doctor Who Season 3 with a very open mind, and I thought I am not going to judge Martha. I am going to look at her as a brand new start. Now let me just say, I really fucking loved Martha Jones, but I hated everything about the way that her character was written in so many ways, and I'll talk about that as the video progresses. Screw that, I'm gonna talk about it now. Okay, Martha Jones is a badass. Now, here's the big problem. Martha Jones is completely in love with the Doctor, and that is not that big of a deal. I posted on Tumblr when I first started the season, if you were like popping around in life and then all of a sudden David Tennant came around with his cute little Doctor Who accent and kissed you right on your face and then asked you to join him in the TARDIS and fly around with him for a little while, you were just kind of the rebound and you knew that you were the rebound, but he kissed you, so there's gotta be something involved in there. You know, you want to hop on that Time Lord D a little bit, you want to see what that action's like, and they honed in on this weepy, sobby girl story, and it angered me so much. It strangled the life out of me is what that whole plot did, because Martha Jones is such a badass. She was so cool, and yet they've decided to make her this weepy, piney girl that like anytime she had a really redeeming moment, there was like this second in every episode where she just was like, the Doctor doesn't love me the way that I love him. And I get that, but that doesn't need to be the crux of her storyline. Even as she exited the series, she could have left as a badass, like, I want to go save the world because I walked the earth and I saw how broken it is, and I want to use my teaching as a doctor to go and fix things and to make a difference. I can't travel around in the TARDIS anymore because I can't stand to know that the world is hurting so bad. That could have been her outro, and she could have been a badass, and she could have left the Doctor and given him a big middle finger and said, screw you too, I know that you're never gonna like me, but I'm not gonna tell you that. I know it in my heart, and I'm gonna be a badass, and I'm gonna go save the world because I don't need a man in my life, and I certainly don't need you. They didn't do that though. They just had to have her go back and give her this whole spiel about how she had this mate and she was in love with this guy. He never loved her. He didn't even look at her the same. And so I kept telling her to get out. And finally she got out, and so this is me, getting out. And while it's great that she left the Doctor and she was like, I'm done with your bullshit, she didn't have to go back and say that. She could have just left it that I'm a badass and I don't need anybody to make me unbadassy. But as emotion, I can be the coolest. You know, like, that could have been her outro in a way less butch lesbian way. She could have left with a really cool outro, and yet they forced her to be this weepy, piney girl, and that pissed me off. Now, let's talk about the other big part of the show that I think a lot of people are bothered with, is that Martha was unfortunately tacked with a lot of unfortunate, not very compelling episodes. I personally liked a lot of these episodes. There were a couple of them that seemed like they were really grasping and that they were just trying to like redo things from previous episodes and see how they worked. For the most part, her season is really creepy, really spooky, really demented, and there's a lot of psychological craziness that's going on. It's like an acid trip in Woodstock in Wonderland. Then we had super emotional episodes like Blink and Family of Blood, which Family of Blood really was very, very emotional. At the very end, I just wanted to weep. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, that episode just hurt me internally. For some reason, like, it really just got to me. That episode was so good and so compelling. Blink was so good. There were other episodes of this season that were so good, and then there were other ones that were just really like, they could have stepped it up and done much better things, and they just kind of like left it at this subpar, substandard episode. Here's another thing that I've heard about Martha Jones, that a lot of people don't like her mom, and they don't understand why her mom just hates the doctor so much. And I thought of a really cool idea that they could have really played on and really targeted and really had made it an issue. And I think that the rest of the show kind of tried to deal with the inward racism of white persons towards people of color. And that was something that was definitely challenged through the season on a whole. And I could see bits and pieces of that and Martha challenging those things. And a lot of what I noticed in the first episode, and they really didn't hone in on this, this was just my introspective thinking, is that Martha's father was a person of color and left her mother for a white lady. And subsequently, I think that when the doctor had come in and Martha's mom saw her, a woman of color, with a white male, I think that she kind of had this inward bias that the doctor was just like her ex-husband's new mistress or lover, that he was gonna tear the family apart just like she did. And I think that they could have worked on that aspect of reverse racism, of, you know, people of color not liking white people because of whatever instances that are going on, you know, of whatever that inward bias is that makes people not like other people. And I think they really could have honed in on that and focused on that and made that a huge point of contention for Martha's mom, that she didn't like the doctor because he was a white person. And I really think that they could have gone a lot of really great directions with that, and they really could have played off on that. But I think that they just made her this crazy angry woman for no reason, who just hated the doctor and really just screwed everything up and didn't really have a reason to hate the doctor other than she just did. And I feel like that was the same thing that happened with Rose's mom, and then that eventually later happens with Donna's mom. And it's just this thing that I think Russell T Davies writes for his mothers because he doesn't have anything else to write, and so he just writes like this angry mother syndrome towards the doctor. This is the very last point that I want to mention for this video, is the season finale really just screwed me up. I didn't like the jokes that they tried to put in. I didn't like the master. I was informed that he's a much older classic Who character, and so the reveal of him being that old guy, you know, in 500 trillion billion, whatever that was, years in the future, that was a really big deal that that was him. But for me, it just didn't really matter, and I didn't like his character. And I appreciate him on some kind of villainous level, but it really just upset me that he wanted to destroy humanity, but the doctor was so concerned about him rather than Martha, who traveled the world for him and made everything happen. If it wouldn't have been for Martha, then that season finale would have ended very, very badly. And the doctor didn't even thank her once. He didn't look her way once to even acknowledge that she had done anything. He just acted like he was God and that he had done everything and he had fixed the world on his own. And that really, really messed with me, because I want to like Martha. I do like Martha. I love her so much as a companion. She's definitely higher than Rose, in my opinion. I really liked Rose and the doctor's relationship, but I really just liked how sassy Martha was in certain episodes, how she was just strong and independent, and she was quippy, and she just didn't take bullshit. And I really liked that about her character. And then I feel like the end was such a betrayal to her, and it really just made me very angry, especially since, you know, Donna got such a good season and that the doctor's relationship with her was so strong. Then Rose had such a strong relationship with the doctor, and I think that Martha did a lot of good for the doctor, as Donna points out in her very first episode with the adipose, that Martha girl must have been really good for you, because he didn't want to kill the baby adipose, yet he wanted to kill the spider creature and all of her babies. It was a slightly different situation, but still, he killed all those babies, and then he didn't want to kill the adipose babies. I think that Martha really did a good job for the doctor, and she really had an interesting relationship with him, and I really feel like that last episode was such a betrayal to her as a character, and I didn't like how it ended, and it really just upset me on a very, very deep level, because I really wanted to root for Martha, and I wish that the writers had been kinder to her. And again, Martha's whole season was very from left field and very kooky and very out there and very weird, and I feel like they tried to compound all of that into like a 3-part episode and make it very kooky and from left field. Effectively, it didn't work for me the way that I think they wanted it to. The only real big thing that I appreciated from that whole arc is that I found out that possibly Jack is the face of Beau, which makes so much sense to me because the face of Beau does kind of look like a pruny, wrinkled, elongated version of Jack's face. So that's a thing. So yeah, I really tried to look at this whole season with a very open mind, and I really liked Martha, and I liked a lot of the episodes she was given, like the Shakespeare episode. 42 was really good, even though it was a very blatant, like, repeat ripoff of The Impossible Planet, and like, if we could do this over again, what would we do? I really liked Family of Blood, I really liked Blink. The Lazarus Project was good, but there was something very first episode for Martha, you know, like the hospital where that lady was sucking out people's life. There was something very, like, reused about those ideas. I liked the old 30s New York episode. There was just something a little too kooky about it. I like the Daleks, but there was just something a little strange about that episode. I really liked the relationship that that pig guy had with the lady. It was just so cute to me, and I just wish that the doctor would have been kinder to Martha. And again, that's a writer thing, and it really upset me that she had to be the rebound from Rose, and it didn't seem fair. Granted, I wouldn't have wanted anybody else to be the rebound from Rose. I wouldn't want a rebound from Rose at all. I just want the doctor to have a companion who he appreciates and cares for, and she or he cares for the doctor. Soapbox, and now I'm getting off of it, and I'm going to watch the second episode of Donna's season. I'm going to be on the Pompeii episode, which I've already seen before, and so I'm excited to see it again with a new perspective on Doctor Who. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys all again some other time with another Doctor Who review, and then I'll see you guys all again next time with yet another video. Please subscribe, and I'll be posting videos every single day. Have a great day. Peace out. Thingy Mouse. Cool.